Haven't done this in a while. First, apologies about the noise in the background. That's my heater. It's been a rather cold January and I'm only wearing a few layers. So, Collateral, 2004. Directed by Michael Mann. Make sure I trust myself a little bit. But this is my first time rewatching the film in a number of years. Put up the big screen, fired up my speakers, and it is undoubtedly the best experience I've had watching the film. While I still don't think it's a perfect experience, and I do still prefer Heat, I think it's a much better film. This film has gotten better every single time I watch it. It's not just about the story in loose terms of, you know, the hero and villain meeting, and they're on two different paths, and Max is a guy who's too afraid to commit to anything in life, and Vincent, even though he's a man with a plan, is also quite fond of improvisation. He's at the top of his game, and he didn't get where he was, you know, playing by the rules. He plays by his own rules. It's really more impressive from a scriptwriting perspective in terms of how the action flows from one scene into the next one, and how they coincidentally run into each other's paths, and you can see why Vincent was, you know, in front of that building in the first place, and how he ended up in Vincent's cab, or the fact that Vincent is even aware he's performing these hits. If it weren't for one mistake in the beginning, Vincent may be nonetheless the wiser. Not Vincent. Max would be nonetheless the wiser about what Max is doing. Vincent. I'm getting them confused. No, I shot him. Bullets in the far killed him. You told him to go out back, man. You sure? You think that's a good idea? He might have heard the gunshots. How did he not? I get it. It's LA. They hear a lot of gunshots. But still, because you fucked up, he fell out onto the cab, and now you're driving around in the cab with a smashed windscreen. That's going to draw a lot of attention. And it does. And it does break one of Pixar's rules initially, which is that coincidences to get your character out of trouble is cheating. That's rather convenient that they happen to get pulled away, and not even by something that comes back later. That's the cops that pull them over because his windshield is smashed to hell. But gratefully, it's really the only time that it happens. I was a lot more interested in Mark Ruffalo's storyline this time, the detective who's following the path of all of these killings, because he's on one of the witnesses, and he's constantly looking for this guy who Vincent offed at the very beginning of his shift. I actually paid a lot more attention to the dialogue this time around. It's great because it's not too exposition heavy. It's not terrific dialogue. It's not Sorkin dialogue. It's not reality TV dialogue. It just serves its purpose. It only really gets philosophical when it's dealing with Max and Vincent in the cab. But between the other guys, it's fairly standard police procedural stuff like you would get out of Heat. This one feels a bit more in line with the times, you know, being made 9 years later, and it's shot with digital cameras. It feels a bit more CSI. It's definitely taken some inspiration from that show in particular, and I'm able to follow why Vincent is killing these people and how they're all connected and what the case is that's going on just by hearing the characters talk, and they're not going to repeat themselves for the sake of an audience they don't know is watching. So I appreciated that. I've gotten used to the digital cinematography. It's still not great. I would have preferred film cameras, but Michael Mann was trying out this new technology at the time, and I appreciate what he was going for. As much as I love the vibe of the nightclub sequence, I still have trouble following the geography. It doesn't fully violate the rules of unclear geography as far as action is concerned. There is a sense of cause and effect, there is misdirection, there are stakes, it ends in a different place than when it began. It's just a little bit clustered, but I was able to fully appreciate the soundtrack, you know, on my powerful speakers. I don't know that surround sound would have made a huge difference. Love the sound of the gunshots, especially coming from dead center. I love the way that Tom Cruise moves through the scene. I love the way that he improvises. He really does feel like a special forces guy. He's probably been trained by them in order to perform those moves perfectly. This is one of his best roles, and I wish he did more films like this. It is weird that he still doesn't have grey hair, even 20 years later. I mean, his grey hair probably does have a little, but not in the same way that he does in the movie. What about Jamie Foxx? I'm not really paying attention to Jamie Foxx. I'm here for Tom Cruise. You know, he's one. Nice to see a young Javier Bardem, or younger, who always has a weird haircut, weirdly enough. Like seeing Mark Ruffalo? I should probably cut all of this part out. Anyway, Collateral's a terrific film. See it if you haven't already. Buy the Blu-ray. Don't bother with the 4K. You might even still be good with the DVD. Who knows? Is it worth buying on Blu-ray? Yes. Out of 5 stars, what did you give it? 4. Not quite going to go a full-on A+, but I liked it.